Morning, Louise. Yes, and just sort of hearing your report there about this U-turn for our Prime Minister to attend. There's so many U-turns. This government can't know what direction they're driving in. But to answer your question, fortunately, the roadmap for climate action is really clear, and that's why these COPs, as they're called, which is a meeting of the parties, a convention of the parties, COPs, these are the biggest, most important global meetings on the planet because they're the biggest opportunity for world leaders to agree and encourage and pressure each other to make it possible for us to make a better planet for our children and grandchildren. And it is the first issue ever where global leaders, all of them, come together to agree on these things. Now, what's happened with the different COPs, as you say, is that we've come to an agreement that there is a climate crisis. We've come to an agreement that each country needs to do its bit to bring down the emissions. And what I said is, we need to avoid a catastrophe for all of us here in this country, seeing the extreme weather events we're having with flooding, with drought, with heat waves and storms. We can see it here in our country, and other countries are facing far worse impacts than we are. But we have this chance to keep global warming, as they say, below 1.5 degrees. And what the COPs are trying to do is to keep that alive, the idea of keeping global warming below 1.5 degrees. And I can only say that we're really in A&E at the moment. So that hope has a very weak pulse at the moment. We had lots of pledges last year in Glasgow when the UK hosted COP26. This is now COP27, where we promised to turn up and say, and this is what we've done since we made those pledges.
So, Pippa, I was just going to ask you then, how effective is this? Is there any actually accountability, or is it powerful people in suits making themselves look good by having a conference about saving the planet, but then they all go home and nothing happens?
So, you probably spoke to the wrong person because I'm a climate optimist, because I believe actually there is so much that can be done that we can really turn this round. And it is important those people come together and meet, because last year it was about pledges.
Right.
And what it was decided was not to come again every 5 years for accountability. But what was agreed last year when we hosted it was that accountability would be every year. That is why this COP is so important, because we said everybody would come this year and say, yes, we did what we promised. And I have to say, our country, the UK, has got to do a lot to be able to prove that it did do what we said we would do last year.